The next question, I think both you and I talk a lot about recurring revenue, the quality of revenue. And I know that for a lot of people listening, they don't have a recurring revenue that's usually inside their business. It's one-time fixes, one-time installation, repairs, etc. And so we actually had someone write in, they said they have a garage door business, and he was asking, how can I make this business more recession-proof or add recurring revenue? So I don't know if you want to smash those two together, but he was specifically asking about recession-proof because seeing when we go into recession, less likely people are going to replace their garage door. And so he was interested about us talking how to increase the quality of the revenue, moving away from one-time jobs into recurring, but he kind of is also conflating recession-proof, which I kind of feel like is two different topics. So I'll let you attack it however you like there.
Yeah. So I definitely have some thoughts on this. And I suppose the top level thought is, and I don't know the answer to this because I'm not in the garage door business, but how much of a recession risk is there really in the garage door business?
If your garage door doesn't open, you have a big problem.
I got a credit card. I mean, it kind of to me feels like every time I've had to do something with my garage door over the homes I've owned over the years, we were doing it. I just don't know. I've done some extra stuff, but
I would imagine it's the replacements, because the replacement is probably a higher ticket in comparison to repair.
Yeah, I could see imagine that. So, so some maybe, kind of an upgrade.
Yeah, maybe
I
like
could see that.
The percentage of repairs is higher during a recession, but my ticket is 70% lower on the job.
Yeah. And I guess what I would say, the way I thought about this one is I would tell you that this is the business you're in, and I don't think I would change it. So I do think of quality of revenue as being of a variety of things. I think for me, I like a quality revenue is possibly recurring revenue, but it doesn't mean that, like that would then, if you just think about it just that way, that means the HVAC business, your garage door business, the plumbing businesses, these are bad businesses. I don't buy that for a moment. Those are great businesses. They're they're what you call break fix businesses. They break, you fix it. And as the business gets bigger, you'll find stability in the data. Like you can almost predict year over year, there's going to be this many people that call you. Like stuff is just breaking across your service area all the time. And so there's this stability that happens in these businesses as they get bigger. And so, yeah, there's a element of the business that is probably at risk for a recession, but so is a recurring business. So you could also argue that in the fertilization weed control business, if there's a recession, maybe I cut back on that service, or I have pest control and mosquito, I cut out mosquito. You can go through a whole list of recurring services where I could also make the exact same argument. People are going to spend less. We're going to go from weekly mowing to bi-weekly mowing. We're going to go from 4 times a year trimming bushes to 2 times a year trimming bushes. So being a recurring service does not protect you at all. So whether or not their service is at risk of recession is completely dependent on the service itself. So that's the first thing I'd say. So when I hear garage door, I just don't get overly concerned, and I'm not concerned that's not recurring. And I also wouldn't tell you to add a service. I would say stay in that lane and just do garage door. And what you want to be thinking about, in my opinion, I think about this from the perspective of I own the garage door business. I'm thinking about, am I pricing this right? Am I serving the right market? Am I within my big giant service area? Am I spending most of my marketing money on the best part of the market versus spreading it around the whole market? And so the problem isn't that it's a one-time business. The other problem is that in a one-time business, people forget about you. So in a recurring business, they don't forget about you in the same way. So when something happens, they're like, you're top of mind. You're always there. I'll call them. But in a garage door business where your garage door only needs service every, 4 years, I don't know what the number is, then I probably will forget who I used last time. And so that's what I think you want to, what I think you want to solve for here is don't add services, solve for the problem of they might forget about me. So how do you do that? Maybe putting stickers on their garage door units, putting sticker on the inside of the garage door, maybe as soon as they sign up, you text them a V card, like, so that goes in the phone. And then in the description, it says garage door company. So if they're searching garage in their phone, they find your ticket or your contact card. Maybe you sell them into an annual checkup or some kind of a membership. I was trying to picture this service for me. I have an annual membership with my HVAC company for $300 a year. And I have an annual membership with my electrician because they're here all the time.
Gotta get that robot, get power. You gotta
not
keep
for the
powered up.
yeah, it's always something. There's too many things that going on in this house. There's always something. So I think that's like $180 a year. I've never considered it for my garage door because it doesn't have the same level. It has the same level of urgency if it doesn't open, but it has problems way less. I'm just talking this through, trying to picture it from how I would think about it. It has problems way less than, say, HVAC or, in my case, electrical. And that's just because of the kind of property I have. And so on the HVAC, the 300 makes sense to me. It feels about right because they're changing my vents. They're doing some basic service. They're doing things like that. So my question to you would be, what does it need to be priced at? And what are those preemptive maintenance kinds of things you can do? When I think about my garage doors, I'm not clear on what the preventive maintenance is other than changing the battery in my unit that will periodically go out. And so what I would encourage you to do is think about what all the wear items are, understand on what schedule they tend to break, how often batteries tend to go out, and then can you get them into some kind of an annual checkup? I mean, even if the annual checkup was like $75, even if it wasn't monthly, even if it's just some number that's small so they can't forget about you. You're just out there every year. That's the way that I would add. It's not really going to drive a lot of revenue in the business, but what the actual dollars of the membership of the annual checkup, but what it will drive is it goes back to it's hard for them to forget about you now. That's like the single biggest thing I think you're solving for. And the next one is it will drive work because if you get to do the annual checkup, you'll be able to do a 14-point inspection and say, hey, springs look okay, but it's been 4 years. And by the way, if you're our longtime client, we have a running history of everything we've ever done for you. When the springs were changed, when the unit was changed, when the battery was changed, we know everything. We can even predict when you're probably going to need next thing. Like you can add some value there by making this promise. And so I would put them into some kind of a membership. And the membership's not about if it's $30 or $75 or $99 a year. It's not about that money. It's about they don't forget about you and being there to do the inspection. And then the other way I think about this is, again, not scared of this business at all. If you worry about recession, the way I think about a recession is, sure, I'm going to get hit by a recession in some way, but my marketing engine is going to outrun everybody else's marketing engine. And so, yeah, we'll take a hit here or there, but on the whole, we'll still outperform. So are you doing a really good job capturing all the emergency Google searches? Are you getting your LSA stuff? Are you doing all the stuff right online so that you can win the business in the first place? And if you are, you'll hold up much better through the next downturn. And then the only other thing that comes to mind is, are you working partnerships? So maybe in a recession, people are, like you gave, I hadn't even thought about this, but maybe people are not they're upgrading their garage doors to a nicer garage doors frequently. But can you partner with builders? This is something you'd have to do being in the business, but handyman, who might be the person that says you need a garage door, you need this looked at, you need this fixed? Pest control companies, because you've got the exclusion work that has to be done. The garage door's got a big gap in it. It can't wait. There's probably a variety of partners you could partner with that will refer you business. So have you done all that? So that's more what I'd worry about than frankly anything else. I wouldn't fret about this recession thing too terribly much. I'd just do all that other stuff.
Yeah, my mind also went to more like, okay, if leads get if they're harder to come by, it just takes the froth out of the market, but all your competition is going to feel it. And so it's just who actually knows their numbers during that time to be able to actually go capture market. Like a lot of what I've seen over and over, especially 2008, 2009, 2010. Like that's the last time we really had a recession that was long extended. But you look at a lot of entrepreneurs now, that's when they started. And is because everyone had gotten fat and lazy. And then when the tide went out, they all went out of business. And now there's a whole bunch of customers to pick up. And so at the same time, there's a recession. If it's going to hurt everyone in your market that doesn't know their numbers, has been over leveraged, doesn't know their customer acquisition cost, doesn't know how to do any sort of marketing, they're going to go to business. And then all those customers are now in the market. And so it goes to the person that is able to actually accelerate during that time and be able to be on the offense when everyone else is in the defense. And that's when I actually see like that's when you expand. That's when you grow. That's when you just throttle it when everyone else is struggling because they haven't put things in place. Because it's been easy. Like the phone's ringing off the hook. I'm super full. I'm 6 months booked out. There's no reason to be doing any sort of advertising or optimizing my website or thinking about AEO. And because they haven't, when it gets hard and that froth gets removed, it's the person that's been diligently trying to make these optimizations that can actually accelerate during that time.
Yeah. And the data says a lot of people cut their ad spend during those times. So pile on to what you just said. It's another reason why you have a chance to hold up way better than everybody else because fewer people are running ads, fewer people are in the mailbox, whatever the scenario.
Yeah. And not necessarily in garage doors, but I always think about how can I put myself out of business too? Like if there's a cost, not necessarily with garage doors, you're not going to replace your garage door with something else. But specifically when it comes to landscaping and lawn care, can I put myself out of business by taking out a lawn? Can I do things that are going to save this customer in the long term because they have a bunch of maintenance costs or watering bills or watering restrictions? Can I actually remove this cost from them? And now I am getting a $4,000 or $5,000 project because it's going to save them a few $100s a month. And now in a recession, that's actually a really good move for them. And if the cost of electricity is going up, water restrictions are going up, the cost of water starts to increase, with data centers, everything's going to get super expensive. If that's going to happen, can I actually save the customer money and do things that are actually going to bring down their costs?
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with all that.
All right.
I would whoever asked the question, I encourage you not to worry too much about this one. Just
it's a feature, not a bug.
Just build.
Yeah. If you've built a $1 million home service business, but you're struggling to get to the next level at $10 million in annual revenue, I've created a private community just for you. It's called Home Service Boardroom because what got you to $1 million is all the work, the hustle, the grind, figuring out your leads, your website. But what gets you from $1 million to $10 million is learning the skill of leadership, finding other great talent and managers to work for you. If that's of interest, go check out mikeandy.com/school or see the link in the description.